Okay, welcome to this another tutorial guys on the arrays. I wanted to share something with you, very important actually. We will be talking about the split function in this video, in this lecture, and the split is I had discussed this split function in my one of the previous lectures also, but I have found something very interesting, something new, right? So since it was new to me, I thought why not to go ahead and share it with you, and this is fantastic thing, right? Now guys, I'll explain you in this way. So let us say you have here some number, okay? So let's say we have here a b c d e f, okay? This is what we have. Now if you have to calculate, let's say, that how many times the A alphabet is coming here. For example, I go and create the A here as well, one more time A, or maybe again then A, and then you can have some more alphabets. Now the question is that if you remember, in our previous exercise, in one of the split function, we use the split function with the delimiter, right? Now for example, if you have A comma B comma, or maybe A dot B dot D and dot A. Now if you want to calculate how many times we have the A, the item coming in this cell, then we can do that very easily. So let's say I say that counting item, this is the name of the macro, and then if you remember, we go and create first of all an array. Okay, so I go and give it a name called, let's say, my array, and this is how we give the name to our array, which is my array, right? Now because I have to use the string function, so what I do is a split function, I beg your pardon. So I go and say that the my array is going to be equals to split, and then what I want to split. So I want to split range C3 value, right? So this is how we go and write it, and then in the delimiter, this is the important section, we go and say that that put the full stop in the double quote. This is how it is, right? Now guys, when you run this code, if I run this code, and if I just select this and go to the watch window, and if I click OK, you see that the split function, this is the job of the split function. Let me just resize this, and this is, we have done it. We know that this is how the split function works, right? But in this now, the lecture, we have a very different situation, right? And you might have heard me in one of my lectures that if you don't have any delimiter, like in the A1, we don't have any comma, full stop, hash, question mark, anything, I mean, which keeps all these individual text values separate, then the split can't work, right? But I was wrong, guys, because split can still work. There is a technique, and that is what we are going to do. So I'm going to tell you that how we can split this text as well without any delimiter here. Okay, so let us go and talk about that. So now what you need to do, when you define this array, okay, here the delimiter is not going to come, we all know that, right? So for the time being, just go and comment this line. Now the first thing which you need to do here is you need to use a function which is string converter. Okay, so what we will do, for example, I go and create some variable here var as string, and I say that my var is going to hold a value which is in the A1 cell, right? So you can do that without creating a variable also, that's okay, but I'm just creating it. Now what we will do, this variable which is going to hold A, B, C, D, E, F, A, A, T, we are going to say that convert this string into a Unicode format. Okay, so what you will do in this particular case, I go and create one more variable which is going to be, let's say, var2, and is going to be equals to, this is your function guys which you write, right? String converter, string conversion as, there's some parameter over here. So what we will do is, the string you write here, the string you want to convert, and the moment you press comma, you get to see here a lot of the properties like VB from Unicode, lowercase, proper case. There are so many things here. Okay, I'm going to use the VB Unicode, and I just press enter. Now look at this, what's gonna happen here, very interesting. And by the way, I go and declare the var2 as well. So my var2 is going to be my string. This is how I will go now. Now I go and put this in the watch window because we need it, right? So I go here and click OK. So this is your var2 and I go and delete the my array. Now let us go and run this and let us check that when this line runs, when this string convert function, actions on the your var, how it is going to look like. See this, guys. So now when you run this code, you have your var which is coming from A1 cell. And now when this is going to be split, and when I run this F8, can you see that in your watch window? This is really amazing. You can see that some of the, the formatting is done there, and we can see that after A, there is a kind of, the icon or whatever you want to call it, right? But there is the formatting happens, and it is because of the VB Unicode. So basically what is happening, your text is being separated here by these formattings. Okay, and this is generally you get to see in your sometimes in the CSV files also, these formattings, this is how it comes, right? So now since we have separated A, B, C, D, E, the next job for us is to use the split function now. Okay, so you will now come back to this my array line and you will say that my array now, please split the value. Which value you want to split? I want to split obviously var2. But in this case now you must be wondering that what is going to be the delimiter, right? Because we don't have any special character here, right? It looks very a different kind of the icon, like a square, a very small square is coming. So what you need to do here is you just say that this is what you want to write, char chr, and then you write here 0. Okay, so this is how you go and write this line. The moment you want to run this line, now I just pull back this cursor, okay, and I go and put that my array over here, right? The moment I run this line and I click here on your watch window, you can see that, guys, this has split. This is fantastic thing, right? When I learned this, I was jumping. Seriously, I was literally jumping, guys. I was so overjoyed because this is fantastic thing. I never knew it that if we don't have a delimiter, then there is a still way we can create the arrays using the split function. So that's how it is. So you go and first convert the string into the Unicode. That brings your the brackets. It gives you a special kind of a formatting. The main job is that it splits the individual text, and then once it is done, you go ahead and you split that using the char 0. So that's how you have the entire list. Now obviously now I go and I want to compare something, I can do that pretty easily. So I can run here a loop for j equals to my lower bound of my array, so to upper bound of your array, right? So go and create the array, and next j. So in this particular case, you can write here a condition. You can say that if my array and the index j is going to be equals to a, then you want to count that value. So I can create a variable store plus 1, else and if, else don't do anything, right? And then we can go and create here store as well, store as long, right? We have used these loops before also. The new thing for you in this video is actually the use of the split function with this char 0, and of course before that you use the string converter function, right? So let's go and run this. Let me declare the j as well, and I reset the code, and now we will go ahead and run the code. Okay, there we go. So now your upper bound and the lower bound are coming. You can see here from 0 to 9 this entire code will work, and every time we will have the my array value getting changed from right now it starts with the 0, and then it keep on moving to the next value. So we will have all the comparison. The first value I have here, the 0 index of my array is a, which is equals to a. So this goes in the store and this is counted as 1. So the same process keeps going on. This is how it is going to run. So you have all the things going on here. And finally, when you are finished, you can go and check that you have a value in the store is 3, which you can obviously use. That's something I'm not here to talk about that, right? You can display the message box, you can print that as well in the form of the functions. Function is the next chapter, by the way, after you do the arrays. So you will again find some interesting the use of the arrays, some interesting lectures on the arrays and the functions, right? So I mean, I wanted to share this good thing with you. So this is how you can create these the arrays, right? And just in case if you have some more item, for example, if I just copy this, paste this here, and if I have this long list, where you have different alphabets coming here, a mixture of, I mean, the numbers coming in, guys, that is also something you can do. That there's no problem in that, you can do that, right? So I go and change here these all things, right? Now if you have to run this, let's say you want to count A in every cell one by one, then obviously you can go and when you create this loop, this loop runs on the one cell, because it splits the single cell into number of the number of the characters you have, but then you have to go to the next value as well. So you can of course go ahead and create another loop. So you can write here that for my, let's say for my row movement equals to 1 to 6, right? You can go and create that as well. So just backspace it, keep this little up. So this is your smaller loop, and then you have here next row move. So create your this row move as well here. So I go and create row move as long, let's say. So this is how your loop is, okay? And just select this and put some indenting. That is how it is. And obviously you can use here, if you want to make this dynamic, you can always say that from, let's say, 10,000 dot end and then xlr dot row. So this is how you can use this entire function, the loop, okay? This will make the things dynamic. Now the only thing which you need to do here is so let's do one thing. Let's create the copy of this, because when you go and practice it, you should not get confused. So I go and here I just simply paste this value and I cut this option explicit, and yeah, that's it. And this was your original loop in the module 1. So I go and simply remove this. You don't need this. Let's do this in the different exercise, right? So this is the module 2. So now here what you need to do, because now your items, your values from A1, A2, A3, they keep on changing one by one. So you have to split everything inside the loop. So these lines which you are using here, the var, string and all this, you have to cut this and you have to put that line here, over here, once the loop starts, right? And this var is now, so we have to define the var as well. Cut this line and put it here. Now this var cannot be A1 every time, obviously. So you go and just concatenate this with row move, because your row move will start from 1 and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this one will be concatenated with A, it makes it A1 and then A2, A3. So you will have your all the values coming, different as you go ahead in this, as you move further in this loop. That is the idea. Okay, and every time when you have the store value printed, so what you need to do when your comparison happens, when this array is going to do the comparison with your A item, and before it goes for the next row, which is this one and then this one, you go and print that value also. You want to print that value in the range B, and then go and concatenate it with the row move. Okay, that's all. So simple. So this will do what? This will print the value in the B1, then B2 and B3. So finally you will have the count of A in all the cells. This is what I'm talking about. So let us go and run this, and let's see that if we can sort out this issue. So there we go. So I'm going to run this loop 6 times, remember? Okay. And the first thing which I will do is, this is your 1. So the var will take the value from A1. You have this value, right? We will convert this value into, you can see here, This is much better because in the watch window I think it was coming little blur, but now you can see that, so we have that formatting the square brackets, the box is coming here, which is very nice. And then I will go and split this using the char 0 property delimiter. So once you do that, you can go and check that your array now shows you these all the values separately, and this one more value which comes in the last, right? That's because of this reason that in the last after t you have one, that the box again. Well, that's okay because after the box there is nothing, so that's why it shows as a blank, but that is not going to be a problem for us. So we go and run this loop how many times? From 0 to 9, because we have 0 as lower bound and 9 as upper bound. So I go and quickly run this. You know how it is going to run. So there we go. So I go and quickly run this, and finally we have a value in the store, and this value will go in the B1, right? So if I just move this little down and I run this line, you can see here I got the count of the A3. Perfect. Now we will go for the next row. So the next row move variable is going to be 2 now. So the second time when the loop runs, this var value, which is A, B, C, D, E, F, A, A, T, this is going to change. And you can see here we have now GSTES, right? Again, this value we will convert this string into Unicode, and once we have done that, you can see I got all my those, the square bracket, right? Or whatever you want to call it, square or whatever, right? But this generally is a formatting thing, right? It comes with the formatting. And then I split this my array, and once you split that, now you can see that array is split again. And these lower bound and upper bounds are so fantastic because they always make sure that the loop has to run how many times. So whenever your array breaks down, you will be knowing that upper bound and the lower bound will be knowing that how many times that loop is supposed to run. So I'm going to run this 5 times again. So we will again go and check one by one. So in this case, I don't have any A item. So the value should come here, as blank, right? But guys, one thing you need to remember that right now the value of the store is 3 from the previous value, which is wrong, right? So we have to make sure that when we print the value, the store should again be 0. I should have done it. So anyways, let me reset the code again, and let's quickly run this once again. So I go and run this quickly, and I put the break code here. Let me press F5. So this is the first time the code is going to run, and now the second time we will have the split of the array. So I'm back on the same situation. Now here this will run. You see that every time it goes in the else mode, because in this array we don't have A anywhere, right? So we will go and run this. And finally the job is done. Now what is the value in the store? So you can see here the store is 0. So you will have this value in the B2, right? So you got the guy's value here as 0. Again I make sure A, B, C, F, F, D, 3, all that stuff, right? So again my store is 0. So I go and run this. So when I press F5, I have already put the break code here. So what is the value in the store? You can see here I have got 3, which is correct, I guess, because you have this AA and this A. So I go and run this F5, and I just go and remove the break code and I press F5, and now we can see here that this is coming perfect, right? And if I go and put some more A over here, let's say I put here 4 times, I keep the value, and here I go and just remove this, and I go and just remove this just to check whether we're getting these values correct or not. So I go and run this code again. This time I will press F5. Now you can see here I got 3, 0, 3, 3, 6 and 1, right? Now as I always say that guys, when we discuss about these examples, right, you cannot assume that the codes, the problems, the practical things which you're talking in the lectures, in these videos, you may get the same situation when you work in your day-to-day Excel life. It is not that. It's all about getting the concepts clear. I want to give you more and more examples so that when you work on your project and you find there's something which you think that yes, arrays can be used, you will have a better idea. You can be more creative, right? So that's why this is the idea of putting all these things together, right? So that's it for now, and next time now you know, I know that split function can even work when you don't have a delimiter with the help of the string converter, right? So thank you so much guys. I hope you have enjoyed this session, and now let us meet in the next lecture. Thank you. Bye bye.